What's up, meta nerds? This video is all about the TIE SK-X1 Experimental Air Superiority Fighter, also known as the TIE Striker. Manufactured by Sinar Fleet Systems, the same company that made all the other TIEs, and would live on as Sinar Jamis to produce other two-seater TIEs like the TIE SF. At just over 17 meters, or about 56 feet long, the Striker was almost as long as 3 TIE fighters, and about the same length as a B-Wing. Despite being this long, straight on, this ship would be hard to hit, as it was only 2.95 meters, or just under 10 feet tall. This makes it shorter than a Wookiee with an Ewok on its shoulders, and about the same height as the ETA 2 Interceptor. At 1500 kilometers per hour, or 932 miles per hour, the TIE Striker was faster than every ship used by the Rebellion, including the A-Wing, and almost faster than every other TIE, but it still gets beat by the TIE Defender. Like all ships in the TIE series, it was powered by solar energy collectors, which through a heat conversion matrix generated electricity, which was used to ionize radioactive gas, and the resulting ions were shot out of the twin ion engines, which were located at the back of the vehicle, creating the thrust that pushes this vehicle forward. The X1 experimental part of this ship's title comes from the fact that the location of these wings, and the repulsor lift system within them, was tech not worked into other TIEs. Intended for atmospheric flights, the Striker was based off of Geonosian ships that used repulsors to move air away from the ship, reducing drag on the vehicle. The wings could also articulate, moving slightly during battle for better maneuvering, and folding down to land, though it could also rest on the hull of the ship. Its armament was also greatly increased, with 4 LS 9.3 laser cannons in total, 2 on the cockpit and 2 on the wingtips, and 2 HS-1 heavy laser cannons also placed on the cockpit. The LS 9.3 are what we see on the TIE Defender, and the heavy cannons are something that are unique to the TIE Striker. It can also operate as a bomber, with this proton bomb chute, which had at least 15 proton bombs on board. And of course the release of these bombs were controlled by the bombardier, who used this targeting sight computer. These weren't the heaviest ordnance, and the TIE bomber would still be called in to level buildings, but the Striker would carpet bomb battlefields, taking out lightly armored vehicles and rebel troops. It wasn't equipped with any shielding, but it did have a quick removal feature that magnetically held the wings in place and could be easily released and refitted so a Striker could quickly return the battle. Its history starts early on in the reign of the Empire, and some even did a flyby during the building of the first Death Star. With the phasing out of the more experienced clones, TIE cadets often trained with these, and the Empire would transport these to planets where they were left to police civilian populations, but they were most often used to protect Imperial assets. Due to the immense importance of Scarif, many TIE Strikers were seen there, but the reason we don't see them in many space battles is because its wing placement and its experimental repulsor tech supposedly made it worse than the standard TIE LN when it came to zero-gravity dogfighting. In the final battle of the Galactic Empire, TIE Strikers were used during the Battle of Jakku, and they were seen when the rebels tried to capture Rathana Imperial shipyards. So that's it for its history, and there's actually a pretty funny behind-the-scenes fact, and that is that there was an intense rivalry between the Striker pilots and the fighter pilots, with Striker pilots mostly fighting in the planet's atmosphere, and thus seeing their job as much harder than pilots who fight in space, whereas TIE fighter pilots called atmosphere goo, and see Striker pilots as inelegant, calling them groundhogs, whereas those who fought in space were called vac heads by those who piloted the Striker. So that's it for the TIE Striker. If you liked it, go ahead and hit that like button, and if you want to check out our social media, or ways that you can help support this channel, be sure to check out the description down below. If you want to see more, be sure to hit that subscribe button and hit the bell icon so that you get notifications. But more important than all that, remember, just change the position of the solar panels and you have a totally unique vehicle, and the Force will be with you, always.